What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the Big Blue in the Bronx YouTube channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when live stream pops or video drops. Appreciate you all coming back. We're trying to reach, and it's thinning by the day. We're trying to reach 900 subs. We lost two today, so hopefully we could get. I think let's do the math here. 67 more subs, get up to 900 by the end of the year. If not, we've grown a lot this year. With a lot of different things we're doing on the channel. So I appreciate you guys' support and, yeah, all that sort of stuff. So another Yankee video coming along, and obviously we had the Rodon signing, had the Judge signing, had the Rizzo signing, and all that stuff. One of the priorities for the New York Yankees needs to be left field now that we're kind of slipping away from the stars. And you look at the left field market, it's not very good unless you're looking at the trade market. I have a couple of free agents in mind for this video. It doesn't mean I like them. I'm just presenting them to you guys as options, and you guys can obviously make up your own mind, stuff like that. How I'm going to do this video, obviously one by one candidates. I'll go stats, analytics, what it would take, how much money as well, their contract situation, all that sort of stuff. So please tune in, like, comment, subscribe, share out as well. It's very important for the channel. And let's get right into it. So 5 left field options for the New York Yankees. Yes, I know the font isn't very creative, but OBS gives you a limited amount. Well, I actually like the font, to be completely honest. I just don't like the color matchup. But anyway, we're going to go into one guy that probably is my number one right now, and I'm going to be completely honest when I say that. That's Bryan Reynolds. Bryan Reynolds is a Pittsburgh Pirate. Let's go through the stats. Let's go through the other stuff, and we'll break it down. So last year for the Pittsburgh Pirates, he played 145 games, 27 home runs, 62 RBIs. Strikeout-wise, 141, which was the highest in his career. He also had career high in home runs, so I could, take that as well. He also had a 262 batting average, 56 walks, 7 stolen bases. You take a look at Baseball Savant. Obviously, that's the analytic factor that we're going to put in here as well. So if you're an analytics fan, great. If you're not, oh well. You could also look at the general stats I just read. So he last year was great in the rankings of average exit velocity, hard hit percentage, slugging percentage, walk percentage, sprint speed, and arm strength. And then he was about average to below average in K percentage, chase rate, whiff percentage, outs above average, and outfielder jump. Obviously, some of those, are fielding stuff. I think he's a solid outfielder in terms of fielding. I really don't look at analytics for fielding. I really don't look at WAR either, to be completely honest. So there's that. So we gave you the stats. We gave you the quick rundown of the analytics. Let's talk about the contract situation. Then we'll talk about, what it would take to trade for him. And also any other updates that beat reporters may have in terms of different left fielders that the Yankees are pursuing. So 2022, he is expected to make around $6.7 million, which is nothing, and the same for 23. 2024, I don't know if I just said 2022 is in like this is going to be 2022, but if I did, please ignore that. 2022, he made 6.7, is expected that for 23. 24, there's really nothing right now on Spot Track. Same thing with 25, and then he's a unrestricted free agent in 2026 when he's 31 years old. Right now, he is 27. He hasn't turned 28 yet, and still, fairly young for the New York Yankees to pursue a left fielder. To be completely honest, I'm just going to give one spoiler away. I'm not considering Oswaldo Cabrera to be a left fielder because he is a DJ LeMahieu, Marwin Gonzalez platoon-type player that could come off the bench, be really good in situations, and if you pigeonhole him in one position, if another position, let's just say DJ LeMahieu gets hurt while Cabrera's in left field, you're sort of fucked if you don't have any other reliable depth players that can play second base, and then you'd have to put Tim LeCastro in left field or Aaron Hicks. You really don't want to do that. So that's just keep that in mind. I'm not putting Oswaldo Cabrera in this video. But what would it take to trade for Bryan Reynolds? It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. A lot of people are saying that the pitching is going to be, a factor in terms of pitching prospects, which I have no problem giving up. To be completely fair as well, you're not going to be throwing away any contracts in this type of a deal. Obviously, they're giving up $6.7 million, which is, once again, not a lot. Maybe it's one of the highest paid for the Pirates. I mean, except for Carlos Santana, who I believe they just signed in the offseason. So they're not really looking on to take any big money. And they're really not looking to win right now. Within the next 2 to 3 years, they have a good young core coming. Brian Hayes, O'Neal Cruz, all these different guys. So adding pitching, if you want to throw a Clark Schmidt in there, some of the other guys that we have, I'm really not good with pitching names in the system. Another guy that I met myself, Randy Vasquez, if you want to throw him in as well. You're going to also have to throw in a top 5 prospect, which, to be completely honest with you, I don't have a problem with. Jason Dominguez, the Yankees really don't have a plan for Dominguez. Then again, it might actually depend on what they do right now in free agency in terms of left field. Maybe they keep Ozzie there or keep Hicks there, or they trade away Hicks and then they put Dominguez in left field. I mean, a lot of different things could happen, and then there's also the possibility of Spencer Jones, which I don't see for another 2 years. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But Dominguez, I don't really see a Volpe giving up in this trade, and Reynolds can really fit the Yankees well, but at the same time, I just, A, don't see the reason that you would trade Volpe for Reynolds. B, if you have to, okay, I'm not too much of a fan of it, unless you have to keep Peraza at shortstop, which I'm not sure they're going to do. And then C, I think their infield is pretty much set. Now, I don't know who their second baseman is, but they got a good left side of the infield. So, as far as Brian Reynolds goes, he is my top option. Go get him, please. I'm going to move to an option I really don't like. And a lot of people are saying, get this guy. A lot of people are saying, don't get this guy. I'm going to remove Reynolds from the top of the screen. We're going to go with Minnesota outfielder Max Kepler. I personally do not like this guy. A lot of Minnesota fans, lucky enough, or I should say relevant enough, a few years ago we're talking about, Max Kepler is better than Aaron Judge. I'm like, where are people getting this from? But talking about Max Kepler and the stats-wise last year, 9 home runs, 43 RBIs, 227 batting average, only 66 strikeouts, which, is a plus. In terms of walks, he had 49. You take a look at the analytical stuff on Max Kepler. Baseball Savant likes him. They're fairly positive on him. Max exit velocity, expected batting average, expected slugging percentage, walk percentage, K percentage, sprint speed, chase rate, whiff percentage, outs above average, outfielder jump and arm strength. He's great, above average in all those categories, and then he's below average or about average barrel percentage, average exit velocity, and hard hit percentage. And then you take a look at his contract details. So for 2022, about $6.77 million he earned. 2023, it's about $8.5 million. And then next year, 2024, well, even 2023 is still next year, but 2024, he's got a club option. It's about $10 million. The Twins can either take it or they don't have to take it. And then he's a free agent in 25. Max Kepler right now is 29 years old. Obviously, he's a left-handed hitter. You guys know that. So I'm just not a fan of Max Kepler. He's like a lesser version of Ian Happ to me. Now, as a fielder, I don't know what he brings to the table. I really see him as more of a center fielder and right fielder. Maybe he has played some left field in his career. And obviously, the Yankees aren't, shy of defensive players. Gleyber Torres is good at second. Josh Donaldson's good at third. And, they have some good fielders on the roster, which, that's not necessarily the issue. That comes into the situation you're talking about left field. You want to talk about bats. The Yankees really haven't improved in that area. They just signed 2 guys that they needed to sign back in Anthony Rizzo and Aaron Judge. So as far as Max Kepler goes in a trade, there's different talks about how they might give up, meaning the Minnesota Twins, they might give up on Luis Arias, which would be really interesting to me. I don't know if the Yankees are willing to take him on because you'd be really platooning him and Rizzo, and maybe Arias is a DH as well, but you have Giancarlo Stanton, so it would be an interesting move. Obviously, Arias had one of the best seasons in his career last year. I think he was like the leader in batting average or something like that, and, it's, once again, interesting because you're not giving up a top prospect to trade for Kepler. At the same time, you're not necessarily going to be giving up a huge contract either, because you took Josh Donaldson's contract from them. Aaron Hicks was a former Twin. So it really doesn't make sense in that area. Now, could you throw in a Gleyber Torres? Yeah. Would I throw in a Gleyber Torres in that trade to get Kepler? No. I'm going to be completely honest with you there. I wouldn't throw in Torres to get Kepler. Maybe Arias, but I need to see that fit first. Because you can't be platooning Arias and Rizzo. Meanwhile, Arias had one of the best seasons in the league last year. So I just don't see a fit for Max Kepler. In terms of the actual player, I know I haven't touched on him much. One of his best seasons was 2019, where he had 36 home runs, 252. I mean, his stat line is pretty decent from that season, but I just don't like last year's stat line. I'm a guy who values batting average. I'm a guy who values home runs, strikeouts, and my mentality is if you hit a lot of home runs, I give you the excuse, as long as you're hitting for batting average. My personal old school philosophy, you can strike out over 100 times. Now, obviously, he didn't strike out over 100 times last year, only struck out 66 times in a total of 115 games. But he only hit 227. So I just don't see the fit. Obviously, others do, but it's not a trade you make, in my opinion. Where's the upgrade? If you were to give me Oswaldo Cabrera or Max Kepler, I'm going to take Oswaldo Cabrera. But we're going to move on. We are going to move on to a guy that I would trade for personally. So I'm going to get rid of Max Kepler. And we're going to talk about the guy from Arizona. One of the guys from Arizona, his name is Jake McCarthy. I don't know if you've heard of him, but we're going to introduce him right now. So McCarthy, last year for the Arizona Diamondbacks, 76 strikeouts, 283 batting average, 23 walks, 8 home runs, 43 RBIs, 23 stolen bases, which obviously he brings a speed factor, which the Yankees could use, but they really don't use it. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. He also played a total of 99 games last year, so didn't play 100, but obviously small sample sizes within the first 2 years of his career. He was also fourth in Rookie of the Year voting for the National League, so there's that. I believe there's control of him till 2025. And then you look at the analytics, they really do not favor him. I'm going to be completely fair. And once again, if you're an analytics guy, stick to analytics. If you're not, you don't have to listen to this part. But Baseball Savant, not very good with him. Average exit velocity, hard hit percentage, expected batting average, expected slugging percentage, walk percentage, K percentage, barrel rate, whiff percentage, outs above average, outfielder jump, arm strength. That's all average to below average, and sprint speed is where he hits the above average to great categories. So if you're an analytical guy, you're not going to believe in Jake McCarthy. What I am seeing is two things. I see speed. I don't know what type of player he's going to be. I don't see a ton of power based off the last 2 years, but maybe he could be a Benintendi type, and I'm not going to say, I fully know the threat of Jake McCarthy. To be honest, we really don't know what he's going to turn into, but a lot of people are predicting that he's going to turn into a guy that's, a contact hitter, hits for average, solid fielder in left field. And that's why I am buying, the ceiling on him, because, hey, listen, he's another young guy that could fit in, give us Waldo time on the bench. Now, if you're asking me right now, going back to what we were talking about earlier, would you trade Gleyber Torres for him? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. I think Arizona could use an infielder, get that, I think it's like $8 to $10 million off the table. I don't know, obviously, what McCarthy is earning for 2023, but that's a deal, in my opinion, I would make. I think McCarthy's ceiling is a little bit more, I would say, my type friendly, maybe Yankee friendly than Max Kepler. Max Kepler is definitely a Yankees type deal, though. But I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit more in love with Jake McCarthy. And to be fair, he's the only Arizona outfielder I would take out of him, Alec Thomas, and Dalton Varsho. But a lot of people, of course, are questioning why would they trade McCarthy. I mean, he was fourth in Rookie of the Year voting, and, it just doesn't make sense. They're a young team. Well, sometimes they could use some players that, up their offense a little bit, and Gleyber can do that. And the pressure's not going to be on Gleyber in a city like Arizona. It's just not. So that's Jake McCarthy. We're going to go into some options, two more that I'm really not fond of. Going to be completely honest with you guys. We're going to remove McCarthy here. We're going to talk about another guy. We're going to talk about Michael Conforto. Michael Conforto did not play yet last year due to, I believe it was a shoulder injury. An injury that hampered most of his season. Didn't sign with a team after the lockout. He reportedly turned down a contract from the Houston Astros for like 2 years, $30 million. I want to say it was because he wouldn't be playoff eligible. And it would have been obviously, good timing if it had been done before the 31st. But obviously, Conforto wanted to be a part of that team, and he probably knew where they were going. Conforto is still a free agent. The Yankees have done a little bit of work on him, according to Brandon Cootie. But I'm going to be honest here. I'm just not sold on Conforto. Now, you obviously got to reference his 2021 stats: 232, 104 Ks, 14 home runs, 55 RBIs. Not great. Played in 125 games. You look at the 2020 season, which was. I don't really like to reference 2020 stats. 9 home runs, 31 RBIs, 322 batting average. Once again, that was a sample size of like 60 games. I don't believe too much in that. The year before, 33 home runs, 92 RBIs, 149 strikeouts, 257 average, and 151 games. You look at the analytics side of it, he is above average in the categories of arm strength, walk percentage, chase rate, whiff percentage, outs above average, barrel percentage, and max exit velocity. Average to below average in average exit velocity, hard hit percentage, expected batting average, expected slugging, K percentage, and outfielder jump. And just be aware that this is 2021, not 2022 stats. I don't know what the market's going to look like for him, to be honest. I don't know what teams are in on him. Obviously, outfield needy teams. But in my opinion, man, a lot of people are campaigning for Conforto. And me personally, once again, I don't see the fit. We talk about Brian Cashman getting injury-prone players. This guy's coming off of a year where he did not play. So I just don't see the logic there, in my personal opinion. Are we buying into what he was in 2019, 2020? Is that what we're looking into? Because he didn't have a great 2021 season. I mean, yeah, he played 125 games, but over 100 strikeouts, not too much power, 232. I just don't see the fit. I really don't. And I don't really see why fans are buying into Conforto as an option. I think you're really just going, and I don't want to say this, it's going to be blunt, but it is what it is. It's bargain basement shopping. So I would like the Yankees to stay away from Michael Conforto. We're going to go over one more guy, and that guy is also from the National League. This guy was heavily talked about last year at the trade deadline. The Yankees did not get him. Chicago did not trade him. And that player is Ian Happ. As you guys know, if you guys were with me at the trade deadline in 2022, July, August period, I wasn't a big fan of Ian Happ and him coming over to the Yankees. But you look at his stats off of last year, and I'm going to be completely honest, you look at some of the stats before 22, it's an outlier year. Last year, 17 home runs, 72 RBIs, 149 Ks, 271 batting average. Obviously, that looks good. I would take that. But the problem is, the years before, his batting average not too high. Once again, that's something I look into. 25 home runs in 2021, but years before that, other than his rookie year, where he had a solid season, was actually 8th in Rookie of the Year voting. I mean, 2018, 2019, 2020, the power wasn't there. The hitting was there. So he's just, in my opinion, hasn't figured out whether he's a power hitter, or a true power hitter, or he's a contact hitter. And obviously, look, you could always get your fine combination of both. But I just don't want to buy into, okay, we get him for a year, maybe he replicates the stats of last year, and then he shits the bed and, we re-sign him 2024, and, he was just playing for a contract, and he goes back to like 2018, 2019, 2020 self, where there's just not a ton of power. So the Yankees have to make a decision on what they believe Ian Happ could be. Now, obviously, once again, he's still in Chicago, so the Yankees would probably have to trade a top 15 prospect for him. In 2023, he's estimated to earn about $10.8 million, which obviously, isn't a lot. And I think it's, I listed Aaron Hicks as a possible suitor, or I should say I listed a possible fit for the Chicago Cubs. But in this type of trade where they're giving up Ian Happ, I mean, you'd probably have to trade a prospect. They're probably not taking on Hicks. Plus, I mean, they have built themselves a decent outfield. Cody Bellinger, Seiya Suzuki, and now you got Ian Happ. So that's at least a solid outfield. And they signed Dansby Swanson, so they obviously want to continue to build, which would make trading for Ian Happ a little less, I would say, probable for the New York Yankees, unless you offer what they feel is the right price. But personally, I'm not a big fan of Ian Happ. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys liked it. Subscribe, do all the good stuff. As I stated, of course, my top two favorites would be Brian Reynolds and Jake McCarthy. Behind that, in terms of ranking them, I'm probably going to go Ian Happ, then I'd go Kepler, then I'd go Conforto. I'm just not really buying into the fact that Conforto, obviously he had a good 2020, 2019 seasons, but 2021 wasn't great, and he's coming off a year where he didn't play. So hopefully the Yankees chase the right left fielder, then make the right decision. Do all the good stuff, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, as already said. Peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool.